Everyone, I am on a solo entrepreneur app development journey to try to make passive income so I can work on startups a little bit more aggressively, I guess you could say, and not need a job. And so during this first phase that I'm working on, I'm looking at a project I call Innovator's Blueprint, which is essentially how do you get an idea, validate it, and then know whether to pursue it and actually develop it. So get an idea, validate it, and design it, and then determine whether you should actually pursue it and develop it and market it and all of that. And so for this, I'm kind of, an update from yesterday. I was taking, or at least my next two steps in this, my next two steps in this phase were to take these two courses. And I started to go through this one just to see if there's anything useful that doesn't overlap with the first Figma course that I took. And I was just laying there falling asleep and thinking that it seemed so pointless at the time to just try to force myself through it. And so I'm still kind of, going to decide whether I want to take these courses next or just, I don't know. I was thinking maybe I can blow it up, or maybe I can, but take the two extremes, blow it up or double down. So blow it up would be, I finished these two, and honestly, most apps don't need that complicated of a UX UI design, or don't need that much UX UI design. Once you have the basic understanding, as long as you're not making dumb apps, the main reason people are going to come to your apps is because of the differentiation that you're providing. And so I felt like I'm almost going in a little bit too far into this, and so doubling down would just be trying to just push through and keep going on this journey as long as it takes, which I don't know how long it would take. The Google UX UI course is probably going to take a month or two if I do it full time being 5 to 8 hours a day. And these two would take 2 to 3 weeks, and then all these books, not just these, there's 20 other books, so it's going to take a year with these books, reading an hour a day. So in any way you think of it, it's going to take a while. It's going to take until September at least, and that's already burning through half of my runway. So that was one path, doubling down. But it doesn't seem like the optimal path, because the other thing that I'm concerned about is going through all of these courses, taking notes and whatever, and learning all of it. And because app design, at least the initial apps I'm going to be making, aren't that complicated, I'm not going to be exercising more than maybe 40% of what I've learned. So I feel like I'm going to forget it, and then it's I spent all this time to forget something. So then on the other hand, the blow it up, for me that looks okay, I finished this, let's just wrap it up and process all my notes, put everything, tie up any loose ends that I have with the current courses and other resources that I've gone through, and then move on to app design. And so once I learn how to make apps, that itself is going to take maybe 2 months to get me up to par on making decent apps, native apps, in iOS. So 2 months, and then at that point try to put out some design and put out some rough apps and try to sell those. So at that point I'm going to be making maybe a few $100s a month if they're good. And then revisit UX UI design, and then also solidify some of the marketing. I don't know, that part is I'm unclear, since I don't really know that. Haven't gone through the full journey of everything. So that's, I guess, something I'm considering. But that's sort of like a recap of where I'm at mentally. Just to say that there's going to be days where shit just feels like it's not going in any good direction. Yesterday was one of those days where I was just like, I don't know, I don't know what step to take, but I know that I'm just going to keep working and try to be consistent. So yeah, I guess that's all I can say. Keep working, be consistent. In which direction to work, that's the thing that's unclear to me. Yeah, that's all off my chest. Okay. So anyways, in this video, just gonna go through some of the notes, or going through all the notes for these 2 courses that I took on Udemy. And I don't know that I'll project notes. I might get into this, but I kind of want to make today just like a quick video. For me, working in public, I feel so like, how do you say, like when I'm viewing myself, trying to see myself from the perspective of how others would view me recording this, and to me it's just too much to do while also trying to work productively. So here, transfer this. Okay, so anyways, let me go to this first. I'm trying to process all these notes, and what that means for me is like trying to develop a tree of knowledge, or essentially like a cheat sheet that I can come back to, and because I know I'm not going to remember this forever, so I'm going to need to revisit concepts and points sometime in the future. So just having like a cheat sheet, and that for me looks like 2, I guess, sections. First is having like an outline, or like the tree filled with layers, and then the second one is having like the process in which all these concepts come to life. And I guess this process comes last, but I'll show you like an overview. So in UX UI design, there's something called user research. User research is just trying to understand the user, their perspective, to try to make something that addresses their pain points and challenges. Because there are many different users, each person's unique, you can't quite look at all of like thousands of users and have something to work with there. So you come up with personas, which is sort of like the average person, the average user. And so from there, you use that persona. I guess this part I'm not too familiar with, user scenarios. But I guess you're trying to understand how the user might use the application. And then from there, you're looking at then what exactly is in this application, and then looking at making or starting to visualize the different ways, the important aspects of the application. Like, where are the main moments that people come to your application for? So those you want to start to, I guess, visualize. And then the first sort of solid visualization is in the form of a low fidelity wireframe, which is essentially just like this, where you just have one sort of font, but it's just describing where the text is going to be. And then you have boxes, rectangles for images. And so it's very very simple and concise, just showing you roughly where things are going to be. Then you want to take that through the users, through clients, stakeholders, key people. Make sure that it looks how they envision it to be, and that it is useful for the users. Then high fidelity is just adding images and making it look pretty, usable. And so then at that point you can connect everything, and then you have like a prototype that you can put in their hands. They can click around. The users can click around and see if like there's any aspects that you need to refine a little bit more. And yeah, more user testing, more feedback, and then finalizing everything off. finalizing everything else. So the design, the branding, whatever. So that's essentially like what I'm want to nail down, because I know once I get to like a startup, and once I have like a firm, or if I'm an investor and I want to invest in people's ideas, I can sort of also be a mentor and help them understand the process. And yeah, so I want to be like a serial entrepreneur, and so for me it's important to be able to replicate what I'm doing for one idea, the process that I'm doing for one idea, and be able to put that into other projects. And so that was like I guess concise, understanding the process. But within that process there's lots of other techniques, concepts, ideas that you need to, like, I guess, understand. And so I break that down so far into graphic design, user experience design, and then user interface design. Graphic design, user interface design are the closest. I would say maybe user interface design is a subset of graphic design, maybe. And then user experience design is its own. But for this, I just sort of try to keep it separate. And so graphic design, so far I just have these notes, fundamentals of the theory, and yeah. User experience design, so far just taken like the keywords, so persona, task, user, task flow, and then task user flow. Why was that so complicated? And within user interface design, and I think some of these are actually probably in graphic design. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I might need to adjust that in my notes actually. Let me take a break. All right. I'm not used to talking a lot, so let's adjust my notes a little bit. Fundamentals is, I think, a good enough one to have on its own. We mentioned typography. It's probably better under graphic design. And typography, color theory, art history, yeah. So everything except Figma, I think. So Figma will be anything that's specific to user interface design. That isn't as much so. Yeah, cool. And all of this we shall put here. So let's fold everything again. Fundamentals, typography, fonts, type hierarchy, color theory, art history, user experience, user interface. Cool. Okay, so that looks better. So now I'm just going through my course notes and making sure everything is over there in my tree of knowledge. So now we're here. Within user interface design, we do have wireframing, or I'm actually not sure if wireframing is better under UI UX. Wireframing. Let's do 4. And I know in the process of making these notes, I'm probably going to adjust it like many times over. But as long as like you're blocking things into like very modular sections, then it becomes easier to reorganize it later. And let's see. So wireframe takes a few minutes, helps test, task flow, fidelity. And then high fidelity. This is more general, applies to both, so I'll leave that there. 2 types of text boxes. Okay, actually I need to take a bathroom break. Alright, so let's go through section 3. This is Figma related. Games to have. Yeah, so this is good for low fidelity. And nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Here, I'll just reference... Okay, actually, let me pause this. Okay, so I'll just reference a note, and yeah, but I think what I want to do eventually is reference YouTube videos, because although this course was good, I wouldn't say that I'd go back to it to relearn any concepts. So yeah, pages, yep. Prototyping, sure. Animation, okay. Commenting, yep. Here, so this is useful information. This would go under... I'm not quite sure, actually. Let me make a column for unorganized, because I think there's a mix of like of resources. Stock Adobe, I think, is like images and other graphical elements, as is this one, while patterns, dribble, Behance, these are more for like inspiration, design patterns. I'm not sure what this, maybe CSS design, I'm not sure. So there's a mix of stuff in that one. And here we can, I guess, add a mood board. I don't know how important mood boards are. How common are these as a technique? Because this one had a mood board example, but I'm not sure if that's common. Columns, yep, we did this, and I mentioned it within, I believe, layout and grids. Margin 80. Wait, what? What is, I don't understand this. Let's see. So I need to review this later on. And here for apps, grid size of 8. He said 6, so I don't know why I wrote down 8. Not columns and not 12. I don't know what the fuck I meant by that. This is all specific to Figma, so don't really need it. So colors is actually going to be useful. Here we'll put it within color theory. Yeah, I'll leave the websites within there, within the section. Color accessibility, contrast ratio is useful. Color palettes. Yeah, so I'll keep it. I don't know how much the information taught in this course translates. I don't know if this was all of his particular workflows, but I'll keep it, and then I'll adjust it if something more credible comes along. And let's see. So I'll keep this information. Gradient and fill. Yes, I don't know what to do with this. Now font pairing. Yes, I don't have anything there. I think I should do font libraries and then font pairing. Body copy. So this just describes the different sizes of the fonts that are used, and character styles. Yeah, so that's just Figma related. Line height I wrote down as leading, so I'll just write that here too. Or line height question mark, space between paragraphs, I'll write that down too. Letter spacing, which is kerning. Yeah, so all that's good. All that's good. Frames, yep. That's all specific to Figma. Working with Photoshop. Auto layout, hugging. Yeah, I think something that I might write down about Figma is the more specific advanced topics about topics and workflows, because I've seen the way some people use Figma and it basically looks like there's like snapping on elements and able to make a wireframe within literally minutes. That looks like you just add in images and maybe add in like more specific placeholder text, and the wireframes become low fidelity to high fidelity literally within maybe like another 30 to 40 minutes. And so the ability for them to turn out designs is just crazy. So I know I'm saying that because right now if I were to try to make a design in Figma, I know I would be trying to like adjust rectangles and trying to make it look all pretty and like manually scaling and moving each different rectangle, while these people are just snapping and placing in it within seconds. They have something that's like almost final. So that sort of thing I think is interesting, but the beginning stuff anyone can learn pretty quickly. Yeah, so that's all typical stuff. Yeah, maybe I'll save this one. This one's good. Good, what's the word? A good habit. Master components. All this is all good. For Figma, this as well. And then design systems. Where is that? UX or UI? This one I guess I'll put it under unorganized. As long as it's grouped together, should be good. And then here we can just do like 2 design systems. Yeah. So I think this is pretty good. You can see I had some notes here, but I think I translated it here, and so I should be able to flesh it out. Or when I'm refining these notes, I should be able to answer any unanswered questions there. And yeah, I don't know if I should just delete this since I'm answering it here. No, I think this is fine. I'll just leave it. So I finished this, now this one. Colors impact. White is a combination of all colors. I think that's all kind of useful information. It's concise enough. Oh man, am I just going to be copying everything? I'll take it for now, but I think I'll have to do some cleaning up. Yeah, yep, okay. So there's color theory typographies here. Here, I think these were important. Baseline is not so important. I think maybe that the only time it seems useful is if I'm making my own typeface. Oh man, I'm getting tired of this. Just being within typography, the history, and let's start from the end. This is getting where should we put this? Maybe under licensing. For this, logo design and branding. That's more graphic design, I would feel. So after maybe like color theory, because art history kind of seems like not as immediate, more if you're going down the rabbit hole. Here we want to do logo design, and logos have a balance. They should be recognizable, not dependent on, make it readable. Yeah, I think these are all were great points for logo design, so we'll just keep that. I have this golden ratio. This is within layout. So grids, we'll put that there. This is more general, or viewer empathy is more general. It's margins, white space. Okay, I'll have these points. And then I don't really need this. This I would like to keep. Let's say photo libraries. That finishes this one, and then rule of thirds. So I think that's more like layout. Rule of thirds. Oh, what's that layout? Duh. And oh, cool. So this is the last one. This is the last one you go through. So we were in typography. Finish those. Finish this. Kerning. Yup. Yeah, so I think the thing that I was lazy to do was go through these images or these fonts. Yeah, I guess I'll just try all these. If they are on Google, I'll consider using them. Avant Jet Pro. And let's actually write because this is what made it useful as well, that she had these categories: high-end, approachable, Archer Pro, source, serif, variable, dark and moody. Here we had antique, olive, north, view, coupe, modern, and Mococo. Attributes and useful and playful. Here we have Damas, titling, extra bold, Xenon black, coquette, illustrative, and okay, there we go. So we finished those, and I think all this information might be useful. Modern was used for computers, good for big and bold, yep. Font weights, yeah, that's useful, might be left, yep, that's all good, yeah, that's all good. And, actually, let me make this smaller again. And I'm gonna transfer that, but let's just copy all this. This was all good. And this was, I would say it's I would say some more typography than fonts. And fonts would be within typography, I feel. Should I make that distinction? Maybe. For now, it's okay. Because then I'd have to make everything else one layer deeper. Script with bold. And here, I think this is important. 2 to 3 fonts per design. Actually, I can cut it out later. Right now my goal is just to have all the information there. So here we said they need to have enough contrast. So contrast can be made through contrast can be made through weight let's just say complexity. Simple paired with detailed. Did she just repeat herself? Yeah, she did. Font pairing guide. And complexity. Font with similar weights. Yep. Have enough contrast and not compete with each other. That just makes it clear to me, someone like me who's not too familiar with all of it. And let's just add some examples. So here we do. And yeah, I think I'd be general. Dot italic and sans typeface and bold and sans. Sans serif. Yeah, cool. Actually, let me write this down, because that one I think might be like the most general. Helvetica Archer Pro. Yeah, that one seems too fancy. And bold. That one's general itself, I guess. Wouldn't use this, wouldn't use this. Would I use this one though? I don't think I would. Okay, so I think that covers this note. White purity. Going into color theory. Yeah. Cool. So I finished this one. I just want to close it all and see how it's coming along. Did I delete something here? Did Persona really not have anything? Huh. I thought it did. That's weird. Yeah, so it did have something, but where that went, I do not know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I deleted it or something. Or maybe background. Nice. So now we finished all of this. This is done. Took me probably around 30 minutes if I didn't do all the talking. Then process project notes. So this was going to be notes and ideas. Yeah, these are all things I need to go through. Process. I really don't know how to think of this page of notes because it could just be like an ongoing page where I write down any notes that come up, but then it becomes hard to track when I've already processed any ideas and concepts. And so then I can try to separate all of these things by, like, I guess versions or timestamps or snapshots of what I've already processed, but then you lose the continuity between notes. So I don't know. But yeah, there's lots of video notes that I need to process. Book recommendations. So this is even more resources that I need to go through. These are all resources that I want to go through. These are just courses I'm taking. I haven't even gone through that many videos. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can probably finish this. This part's the easy part. And then going through this, adding it to this list, that's not bad. So I think I can do that. Probably won't do it online though. So once I do that, my next goal is to go through portfolios. So this I started like a few days ago with Sarah, and I don't know if I went over his online. But right now, the idea is to go through portfolio, see the thought processes that go into it, because Figma itself is like just a tool, and my understanding is that if you want to be a decent UX designer, you need to be more thoughtful of it. You can't just like draw something up and say this is sort of the final result. It's like there's thought and iteration and research that goes into a design. So trying to really understand what processes have been followed and learn from it. So I try to time block it because it's like I have so many. I think here alone, if okay, so starting here, 90 all the way to 130. That's 40 divided by 2. It's on every other line. That's 20 portfolios at least. Going through one took me like 50 minutes. Each portfolio has like, let's say like 4 or 5 projects. So let's assume that I'm able to go through a portfolio, let's say in 30 minutes once I get more proficient. We said 20 times, let's say 5 projects per portfolio times 30 minutes. Wait, am I doing this right? 20 times 5 times 30 minutes is 3,000 minutes. 50 hours. Does that seem... I mean... yeah, I'm gonna have to cut it down. Probably find like a few good ones that I can come back to, but the rest will just be like skimming. Oh, that's cool. Is it unique? Is like at some point I'm gonna have like a baseline of, okay, this just seems, all the previous portfolios, their techniques have already covered this, and this is just overlapped, completely overlapped. And unless it's unique or novel, then I can just skim it. So I'm hoping within like the first 5, or just 5 of it, any of them, it's going to start to become repetitive. But anyways, it should take less than 50 hours. But even if it does take 50 hours, that would be like 30 minutes a day, 100 days, just still half a year. Some people spend like a whole year learning UX UI design, and I'm just trying to go through it. So a third of a year is, in that context, seems reasonable, but take it for what it is. And okay, so I'll do this offline. But essentially today, let me just recap the last few minutes. So today, coming from yesterday where I wasn't really sure how I want to proceed with UX UI design in general, but also the beginning process of starting an idea. Because I was getting too lectured out, I felt like going through all these courses, too much learning. When does the application start? And I could start developing some of my own ideas, but I can't actually start coding them until after I learn iOS app development. And that would be probably, I don't know, if I continued my path, it would be like until February. Yeah, probably February or something like that. And to me, that's too far out there. And I want something that's has quicker turnaround time. And so I was thinking either I double down, try to get through this even faster than I thought so before, or I can blow it up, which just, for me, the idea of blowing it up is just tie off all the loose ends, then start iOS app development. Or even like another idea was, how about I block my days? So 4 hours a day UX UI design, the rest, which is at least 4 hours, it would ideally be more like 4 to 6 hours, 10-hour days. I want to get to 10-hour days. So 4 hours a day UX UI design, 6 hours a day iOS app development. For the next few months, it's just going to be learning, but and also spending some time working on ideas that I have, like starting to design ideas that I have and research them. But I probably wouldn't be putting anything out for at least 3 or 4 months. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'm leaning towards blocking my days once I tie up all the loose ends. So we'll see. It's just yesterday was really feeling overwhelmed with how much I'm learning. So we'll see.